That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time! It's time! It's time for another episode of In This Very Ring.
Good Lord, is it aneurysm time? I mean, dear God.
It might be, okay? It just might be. It's the very first episode of In This Very Ring in 2021. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ritz. As always, we have my co-host, the mayor of Toasty Town, the one, the only, Butters.
What? It's 2021. What? Time for a better year. Oh, yeah. Get it on. Let's do this.
All right. Enough. We already sent it to hell in a handbasket. Great. As always, guys.
New year, same me. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Shut up. Just shut the hell up. As always, guys, we are brought to you by our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Check him out on the web at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Also, Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. Make sure you give Dr. Paul Vidal a call. Also, Ambuck Services, the gutter and deck restoration experts of South Jersey. Michael Ambrose and his team at 856-879-5530. They are the people to call to get your stuff squared away. Tonight, we are going back in our Wayback Machines all the way back to January of 2020. And this is brought to you by Philly Drinkers. Check them out, phillydrinkers.com/HD Radio for all your gear. Let me tell you, wrestling got me through 2020. Agree or disagree? That is the question tonight. Butters, tell me about it. Tell me. Did it get you through? Holy hell, the comment section have popped off. Tom Arnone chiming in, my fam. Kevin Dixon, what's up, fellas? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Kevin. Tom saying Butters. I think he's laughing at the aneurysm. He says Happy New Year. Rob chiming in. Bitches. Jake Friel saying Butters. Frank Vesby, hey, yo. Sorry to bother you all at work. Actually, I'll bother you guys in a bit. To the answer to the poll, I agree. The traditional Butters emojis.
Oh,
Even though it's a
yeah.
year, Butters will never change. From Kevin.
Oh,
Frank
yeah.
Vesby. Tom Arnone want to know Frank Vesby stopping in. Mr. Vesby is coming on a little bit later. We're going to talk some AEW with the man himself, Mr. Frank Vesby. Jake Friel agreeing to the poll. Good night, sweet prince. Tom Arnone saying disagree. Hey, man. But you know what, though? He's not a wrestling fan. Hard as we try to make it happen. And I hope this is Levi, not Levy. Hey, how we doing? And Kevin Dixon agrees to the poll. Butters, tell me about it, man.
First off, I'm going to stop you there. Why in the hell? We got out of a hell of a year, out of a bad year. You want us to jump in a freaking time machine and go back to that hellhole we call 2020.
Because if you remember, just for a moment, 2020 didn't suck. As a wrestling fan, 2020 didn't suck.
All right. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure, damn it, because I don't want to go back to the hellhole now. We don't do time machines, okay?
Yeah, we do. It's called going to work.
Don't even.
At least for you.
All right, that poll question. Wrestling got me through 2020. Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to agree with that. If it wasn't for wrestling, I think I'd have gone insane last year. I mean, come on. We got I had my first wrestling experience at the pay-per-views. Oh my God, it was wonderful. You know, through all the hard times of, sitting through COVID, WrestleMania was great. Got to actually sit there and actually watch it, even though we were threatened with a cancellation. But, for most people that hadn't be stuck at home, it wasn't half bad. Wrestling, we had mixed match of wrestling. We had WWE, we had AEW, we had Impact. We got a whole lot we could watch. Not a lot of people got to watch, their sports in the beginning. All the sports was unsure. Wrestling, yeah, get us through. I agree to the poll question 100%. Oh, yeah, baby, let's do this.
So I have to agree with the poll question as well. Like, I think back to, I said, let's go back to January and let's talk about that. And I look back at that. We're gonna dive into events of each month and different things like that. Here, we're gonna recap 2020 in a very broad wrestling perspective. We're gonna jump into this week in wrestling, and then we're gonna make some predictions on 2021, right? Based on certain things that we've seen this past week and kind of how we think the year's gonna go. But I go back and I look, especially when everything started shutting down. And there's a lot of conversations behind the scenes here as far as what do we do, what are shows going to look like moving forward. And I just remember texting Chrome and going, as far as I'm aware, you and I are good. Because we could still, while life was changing for everybody, lazy booking, and in this very ring, we still kept forward.
Yep.
We still were able to come on every week, have a normal show, and
you call our show normal?
I call our show as close to normal as you're going to get. But we were still able to come and do that, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot more freedom and fun to do these different things. And then I look at the actual content that was being put out from WWE, AEW, Impact, whatever the hell they try to do. And it sucks for Impact, right? Impact was, they just crowned Tessa champion. They were the talk of the wrestling industry by doing that, and then COVID happened and they let Tessa go, and they lost all momentum. WWE and AEW had to take a step back and go, okay, we can't do our normal shows. AEW had to try to figure out a different way to do things. WWE thankfully had the Performance Center, and they were able to still keep some kind of show going. And it's almost like, it was almost like fate that the week before, states started shutting down, WWE was already scheduled to be in the Performance Center for a SmackDown. No, for NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had to do it because it was unavailable.
Yeah.
So there was a lot there in that moment. And we're going to cover it, right? We're going to cover, each month and each special moment. But I have to ask you Butters, if you have to sum up 2020 with a favorite moment, wrestling-related favorite moment, what is it?
I would have to say, and it's only because of my personal experience, but it would have to be the 2020 Royal Rumble. So all right, and I knew that was going to be your answer. Before we get there, we got a couple more comments chiming in. David Roska saying, "What's up? What's up, David?" Levi agreeing. I hope he is agreeing to the poll. Greg Milokovic, I'm watching SmackDown right now. Liv Morgan is in the ring with her partner, who will not be named. LOL. Ruby Riott. I'm gonna name it right now. Ruby Riott. So sexy.
He also agrees with the poll. It started with WrestleMania just going off and allowing some sense of normal to come back. UFC and WWE were the staples through the BS. Agree, and so does Eric. He agrees with us too. Let's go back to the Royal Rumble, right? COVID's not a threat. It's not an issue at the time, at least not something that we were really focused in on.
No.
The big story of the Royal Rumble, let's not even get to the Royal Rumble day. Let's go to the night before. It was Worlds Collide in Houston, Texas. You were there.
Yep.
Well, we were there. Was that your first show?
Yes, actually. Worlds Collide was actually my very first live show.
So what was that like? Because we kind of talked about it on the air back then. But what was it like for you going to that kind of event that weekend?
An experience like no other. I mean, it was one of the greatest things to experience. And, you know, once all that opens back up and you get that chance, I would say to everybody, if you ever get that chance again, go try it out. You may tell yourself, oh, I don't think it'd be great. You know, I've had so many people say, oh, I wouldn't think it's great. There's no commentary. There's no, you know, you won't know. No. I thought the same thing in my head for the longest time, but I still wanted to try it out. I got that chance thanks to this man right here, you know, Mr. Ritz right here. And I can't thank you enough for, you know, the greatness that is a live show. Okay. Even without the commentary, just watching it all live, watching the experience, having that experience is just, it's one of those memories that'll stick with me forever.
Well, and so first of all, you're welcome. But I always tell people, whether you like professional wrestling or you don't, there is nothing better than going to an arena for a WWE show and feeling the energy in a crowd. You know,
Big time.
Because that's when you realize how much the crowd's actually a part of the show, and from the cheers and the boos and the chants and seeing everything and talking to the people around you. Now, we were in the Toyota suite that night for that, so you really didn't get a lot of that fan interaction that I've gotten at other venues around the country. Because you just start talking to people. Like I remember we were at WrestleMania in Brooklyn, that 18-hour God blessed show.
You will never let it down, will you?
No, I won't. It was like 8 hours. And I pulled a shift of work doing it. And we would talk to the people around us that entire night. Right? You know, so Worlds Collide was an awesome event. It was very, very different. We got to see Undisputed Era versus Imperium. That was awesome too. But then the next day happens, and so we have the Royal Rumble. And for me, I've done Royal Rumbles in the past, right? I was there the night Ronda debuted. I was in San Antonio a few years ago. And this one was different, though. It was in Minute Maid Park. It was in a baseball stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And through my connections at work, we actually were in a luxury suite. Come to find out, oddly enough, it's the Astros team suite that we were in.
Ooh, sexy.
Right? And that was such a crazy experience. We were right over the entrance ramp. And I remember you had our tickets. You guys were in the Mazda Club level at Minute Maid Park. And
right above the
we got you guys
dugouts.
in there. We dropped you guys off up there, and Chef and I went up to our seats. And that's when we were up there, and that's when we actually found out that Kobe had passed.
Yep.
That was the same day. Kobe passing. And I remember you could kind of feel when the news broke and it spread through the different suites and people in the stadium started realizing what had happened. It did kind of suck the life out of the arena for a moment. But then the pyro started and WWE went to work in fashion that they do, and they put on a hell of a Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Drew McIntyre kind of break out with that elimination of Brock Lesnar. Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble.
Teasered.
The return of Edge.
Ooh, greatest moment of the night. Not gonna lie. Oh, to see that live, boys and girls. You know, watching it on TV is one thing, but to see something like that live, a return, the energy, the spirit of the entire crowd just getting, Edge's back. Oh my God, it's surreal. It's like you could have blown the arena off with the energy. I mean, it was that grand. It was that great.
It really was. I mean, we were behind it, watching it all transpire. So we actually saw him come up. When his music hit, we saw him come up in the smoke. Mm-hmm. So we kind of have that backwards look to it. It was so cool to watch. But that was also the night that we saw who won the Women's Royal Rumble that year?
Charlotte Flair.
That's right. That is right. Charlotte did win the Royal Rumble that year. We also had that
was the moment I got the piss scared out of me because I had totally forgot about the pyro.
Oh, I remember.
The rest of the night, I was ready for any and all pyro. I just wasn't thinking because they hadn't done any pyro really before that, and then all of a sudden Charlotte's in there. I'm like, yeah, holy sleepy bejeebus.
Because the night starts off Sheamus versus Shorty G. Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo, and then you get Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin
which was great because they beat the shit out of each other on top of the dugout.
Yeah, the dugout that you guys were right about.
Exactly.
And then they go straight into the Women's Royal Rumble match. And I remember getting the message when we were sitting in the stands because I knew it was coming. Chef knew it was coming. We didn't know where it was coming from, so it coming from right field was kind of crazy.
Yes.
But we knew it was coming. I get the text from, I think it was my buddy Silent Hill who was sitting with y'all. He's like, yo, your boy Butters just jumped out his seat.
I could have hit the damn ceiling, I'm telling you. Oh, man. I think at that point I needed to change the drawers, but it was a Royal Rumble, so I couldn't move. I kid, but still, But the rest of the night, I was kind of, I was like, oh crap, that's right, pyro. Hey, first experience with pyro, boys and girls. Holy shit!
Well, and we also had Bayley versus Lacey Evans. This was when Lacey Evans was she was on that climb, man. And look how far now she is essentially fallen.
This was that moment where I was like, Lacey's winning it. Let's do this. Lacey's getting Bayley.
The ringside area, daughter was involved in the match in a way, and then nothing.
We got everybody's favorite feud this whole past year.
Oh yeah. We also saw the Fiend win the Universal title from Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Becky Lynch defeating Asuka for the Raw Women's title. And Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble. Another great moment.
Yes.
And a sign of things to come, how 2021 really kind of was the year of Drew. I don't know, and you don't really know if it was planned that way.
I think they would have had a better grasp of what to plan, a better grasp of what to do if we didn't have COVID. But because of COVID and no fans, they had no real direction. Because as you said in the beginning, the fans are what drives it. The energy of the fans, the cheering, the booing, the fans that kind of guides Vince, that kind of guides the WWE and the direction they go with their superstars these days. And without all that, they're, little children lost in the woods.
Oh, 100%. And it's crazy when you go back and you look at the stats. Charlotte Flair came out 17th in the Royal Rumble, lasted for 27 minutes, 19 seconds. She eliminated 4 people. Drew McIntyre came out at 16, 34-11, eliminating 6 people. One of them was Brock Lesnar.
Yep. Biggest elimination of the night.
It really was, because Brock was in there for 26 minutes, right? Crazy.
And he was dominating everybody that came in there.
Yeah.
If you walked in when Brock was in the ring, you were walking your ass right back out.
Pretty much. And then not even a few weeks later, right? About a month later, February, we go to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Ugh.
For Super Showdown.
Super bore down.
This is where The Undertaker won his piece of the aggro crag.
Woo! The aggro crag. I want a piece.
And it kind of starts the feud between Undertaker and AJ.
Yep.
This night in Jeddah.
That was what, February?
Yeah, it was February.
How could you skip the end of January?
That was the end of January. Oh, no, we're talking pay-per-views. Because fuck your dog food match.
Andy's favorite match, dog food.
No, that was the worst thing. I will never forget coming on the air after that match. That match was a Friday. We had a show Saturday. It was our Royal Rumble recap show. And I'll never forget messaging you going right after SmackDown ended, too. I don't want to do a show tomorrow. This is bullshit. I had never been so mad. I came on the air and I immediately I don't think I did a read yet. I don't think I had said what the poll question was. I think I more or less right out the gate said that's a bunch of bullshit. And here's why this was the dumbest thing I've watched in my entire life.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. If you've never noticed that the biggest disturbance in the force here, folks, is nothing bigger.
How nerdy are you getting?
Nothing bigger than Ritz's rage. So if you feel the biggest disturbance in the force, that's Ritz, going the hell off on stuff like dog food matches, stupid Hell in a Cell matches.
Oh, no. Throughout this entire recap, you'll find where I get mad.
And there was our first maddening moment of the year. The dog food.
Damien
Nom, 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 nom.
Dog food mayhem brought to you by Petco.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't put a Petco ad in that damn match.
Frank Vespi, a bunch of bull. We talking Manitar? And so at Super Showdown, obviously we just talked about the Undertaker's bit.
Yep.
Miz and Morrison win the titles from the New Day. And then you also see Ricochet get buried by Brock. But also Goldberg takes the strap off the Fiend.
Ritz rage moment number 2.
And this match happens during the day on like a Friday or a Thursday or something like that. Really, like middle of the week during the day. And I'm at work and I planned my lunch that day to where I could catch the end of this show. And I remember the show ending. Well, and I'm at work. I'm sitting in the back and I'm watching Goldberg make his entrance and I'm watching The Fiend make his entrance and I'm eating my lunch and it's a 2 minute and 56 second match. Well, the intros were longer. Okay. I remember Goldberg winning, me trying to contain the shout of what the fuck. I'm sitting in front of my director and grabbing my lunch and in just a fit of rage, throwing it out and walking out the back door.
Wait. Ritz throwing food? Unheard of.
I was almost done, so it's okay.
Oh, okay. You were at least eating it. Okay, I'll give you that much.
I had eaten it.
At this point, I would have to shame you for that, sir.
Yeah, get bed.
That's kind of hard to do.
Then we end up at the Elimination Chamber. Right? And this is where we would see Shayna Baszler earned her spot for the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania 36.
Yep.
Sami
By actually, I think, clean sweeping the entire chamber?
Yeah, she wrecks the chamber. Annihilates all of them. We wouldn't see either. We would not see the Universal title nor the WWE title defended on this pay-per-view. No titles changed hands that night. This was literally just designed because there was also the only, other than the SmackDown tag match, this was the only Elimination Chamber match. This was designed to put Shayna over. Right? Oh, no, I take that back. Since Sami Zayn pinned Braun Strowman, he won the Intercontinental title in that 3-on-1 bullshit of a handicap match.
Yeah, I forgot about that match. That's how great that match was, folks. Because at that point, you really didn't know what they were going to do with Braun at WrestleMania. Was he going to have a rematch with Sami? Was he going to have a match of his own? Was he going to get inserted into into the title match between Brock and Roman? Like, you didn't.
And it was crazy because you have almost a month and a half before WrestleMania. Because this was the end of February. And they ran nothing through March. And it's kind of thankful that they didn't because that's when COVID happens.
Yep.
And WrestleMania is now hanging in the balance.
By a thin thread.
And I remember us sitting on the air. We were doing our show. We were doing Lazy Booking. And the big question that we had is WrestleMania going to go on?
And by God, I tell you what, all the reports were leaning to Vince was going to have it, by God, no matter what.
And he does. He holds it in the Performance Center over the span of 2 nights.
Which is probably one of the most unique WrestleManias we've seen, ever, honestly.
Well,
because
and coming off the heels of an 8-hour WrestleMania the year before.
Yep.
Breaking it up over 2 nights. We did those house party, watch party things. Me, Chrome, and some other people. We were watching it all together.
I don't think we ever had a 2-night WrestleMania.
We haven't. We have never had one. It was the first ever.
Do what?
It was the first ever. And at this point, so now the landscape of WWE has changed. The Undertaker, AJ Styles is full swing. It's going to come to a head at WrestleMania. We know that The Fiend and John Cena, that little feud is going to come to a head in the Firefly Funhouse match. We also know that for the first time ever, the NXT Women's Championship will be defended because Charlotte Flair opted to fight Rhea Ripley.
Which was a big shocker at the time.
Correct. Drew McIntyre obviously was going up against Brock Lesnar. Braun Strowman had found his way into a match with Bill Goldberg for the Universal title.
Yep.
And Shayna had decided she was going to fight Becky. And the Kabuki Warriors were going up against Bliss and Cross for the women's tag titles.
And I think we had, Tamina versus Bayley? Or
No,
was it Lacey versus Bayley? Or was that
It was a fatal 5-way. It was Bayley, Lacey, Naomi, Sasha, Tamina. We also had the first ever triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown tag titles, where it was truly a triple threat. It was not a 3-team. And that's where Miz and Morrison retained their titles. We also saw Kevin Owens jumping off the big WrestleMania sign.
Yes.
Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And as noted earlier by one Mr. Greg Milakovic, it saw Rob Gronkowski from the NFL, who was hosting WrestleMania that year, as a 24/7, 7-11 I-95 South champion. That
was also talked about because Vince showed Gronkowski how to take a bump.
Yep, he had to show him how to take that drop.
That old ass man showing people how to take bumps. Come on now, people.
We saw Edge versus Randy Orton in
hell
probably
of a match.
an unnecessarily long last man standing match.
Unnecessarily long, but man, was it I gotta say it was a slobber knocker.
You could probably take out about 8 minutes of that match, and I'm okay. In different chunks, right?
Yeah.
But this is also where we saw the start of WWE running more cinematic matches. And it happened on night 1 with the Boneyard match.
Ooh, such a good match.
By far, hands down, my favorite thing that WWE produced this year. Because
it was so good.
You can't call it a traditional match.
No. It's close to a buried alive match, but it was still a great match.
Well, but it was also it was a movie. Right? And I remember we got off the air. I'm sorry, we didn't get off the air. We ended the house party thing that we were doing, Chrome and I, and we got to talking, and we did a special preview show for night 1. And I think we actually got the opportunity to do a preview show for night 2 and a recap as well. And I remember talking about this match very heavily and how good it was and how unique it was, how different it was. And we said that night it was the end of The Undertaker. Right? Because the last ride it either just came out or it was getting ready to debut.
I think the last ride had just debuted right before that WrestleMania.
Like leading up to it. I don't remember the exact dates, but right around this time we were watching the last ride. And it was so compelling, so good. And you knew The Undertaker was truly retiring.
Yep.
And as Morris says, it was a great send-off for The Undertaker. And it really was. It 100% was. Again, huge Undertaker mark here. And I loved every minute of it.
Big time.
Night 2 saw Charlotte Flair winning that NXT title, which nobody really saw coming.
No. Honestly, I hated it. I wish Rhea would have been able to go over on Charlotte. It'd have been great, but...
And then The Fiend defeating John Cena in a Firefly Funhouse match. Again, another cinematography, another cinematic match. Really fun. Very, very different.
Unique and interesting.
The Boneyard match that we had seen 24 hours prior.
Yeah.
And Drew winning the title was also on that night.
In a quick fashion, too.
Yeah.
You know,
And
just
then,
and I get it, but, with COVID and everything, they kind of had to just make it kind of a little short and sweet. But, I mean, it was just, that was the upset. The upset for the night. I mean, it was as crazy as it sounds. I mean, such a good match.
So now here we are. We're in May. And Money in the Bank is happening. And they say Money in the Bank is going to take place from WWE headquarters. This was another one that was very cinematic, right? Both the men's and the women's matches went off at the same time, starting in 2 different places in Titan Tower. They met a couple of times throughout. You had some different cameos throughout. Dana Brooke shined in this match of the type of character she can be.
Big time.
Ultimately, Asuka would win the WWE. I'm sorry, would win the Raw title. Damn it. Would win the women's Money in the Bank. And our boy Otis would win the men's.
Not only did he get the girl at WrestleMania.
That's right. I almost forgot that.
He also got the Money in the Bank, making a fat man's dream of having the money and the lady, honey. Because, so good.
Are you okay?
I'm Butters, baby. I'm back.
You're so dumb. Pete Evans chiming in, saying, "Yo, fam, what's up, Pete?" And Asuka, we would come to light that the next night on Raw, that Asuka didn't just win a contract for the Raw Women's title.
Oh, no.
She won the Raw Women's title because Becky Lynch was announcing her pregnancy and she was going away.
Such a heartfelt moment, too.
It really was. It was fantastic.
Tearful, heartfelt. I mean, probably, one of the greatest, like, just regular moments of the COVID era.
Mm-hmm.
We had some great things, but that right there was just, it was a little teary-eyed.
Go into Backlash. You had the greatest, what were they promoting this match is called? The greatest wrestling match ever between Randy Orton and Edge.
Yeah, no.
This match, no. This match went 45 minutes. And when you go back and you watch it, like I remember watching it in the moment, right? It wasn't a bad match. You didn't even realize how long it was until you like actually grabbed maybe like your phone or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did good things within this match. This is also a night that you would see Drew McIntyre defeat Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman defeat The Miz and Morrison, Bayley and Sasha Banks, who are now the women's tag team champions, retaining their title that night. But then, whereas Backlash was more, it was literally just designed for Orton and Edge. Then you had the horror show at Extreme Rules. And in my opinion, this is the night that WWE changed the game. And let me tell you why.
Oh, why?
Because you had Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman in the Wyatt swamp fight.
Ooh, such a crazy match.
And this is where you saw Alexa Bliss's sister Abigail. This is where Braun Strowman would change into a true monster. And it would set the stage for one of the more interesting, I guess you could call it, moments of the year when Alexa Bliss would be attacked by the Fiend and turn into truly a Twisted Bliss character.
Yep.
And so this is the night that, in my eyes, nothing else mattered that night. But because of the ramifications that it would have moving forward.
Because this is where...
Yeah. Damien brings up a good point. During the greatest wrestling match ever, they did the homage to Mean Gene, who had just passed recently.
Yep.
Thank you, Damien. I forgot about that. It was that match, the Wyatt Swamp fight. I remember going off the air and I was doing a live reaction with Maddie Sensuti from Lazy Booking and Hockey Happy Hour. And I go from Matt and I go, well, did he win? Who won? What happened? Who won?
See, and that's those head scratchers in WWE is when they leave it like it's like the Firefly Funhouse match. You really didn't know who won.
Frank's right. That was great, the Swamp Thing. So that was the running gag. We kept calling it the Swamp Thing on the reaction show because Maddie couldn't remember the name of the damn match.
My God.
So, all right, backstory behind that.
I'm disappointed in you, Maddie.
We actually recorded we watched the whole show. We recorded us watching the whole show, but we only aired us watching the last match.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole night, and Frank was with us in the back end the whole time. Frank and Maddie would forget the name of the damn match and kept calling it the Swamp Thing match.
Be a great name for a match, the Swamp Thing match. I mean, you could have Ralphie dressed up as the Swamp Thing and try to wrestle the Undertaker.
And now we're at August. Right? And obviously there's a lot going on with NXT as well, too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But now we're at August. And this is where we would start to see the Fiend recapture the title from Braun. There was rumors that Drew was going to drop it to Orton. Asuka capturing the Raw Women's title. Bayley defending the SmackDown Women's title against Asuka. Asuka pulling double duty that night. Mandy Rose defeating Sonya Deville in a loser leaves WWE match. So then Sonya would leave. Only show up again last night.
Yep, they said she was reinstated.
Yep.
You know, it was originally supposed to be a hair versus hair match, but you know, things happening at Sonya's own home with an asshole.
Yep.
Stopped that real quick. So they had to go with.
Go ahead.
So they had to go, of course, with the.
Frank Bessie saying, "Yeah, Ralph fan club would approve of Ralph dressing up."
Wouldn't have to go far to be the Swamp Thing. No, I'm just kidding, Ralphie.
But no, and you'd also see Dominic Mysterio get into the ring for the first time.
Which this kid's great. I mean, for someone, you know, yes, I understand. You're training with your father, who's, one of all time, the greatest luchadors of all time, and one of the great wrestling greats. But the fact that this kid's learned so much, he works hard, busts his ass, and he gets in there and has these matches that are they're great. I wouldn't call them match of the year candidates, but I'd still call them great matches.
Now, this would be where another shocking moment would happen in WWE. Roman Reigns, who we hadn't seen on television since the pandemic started, arrived on the scene at SummerSlam.
Looking like he just got out of the dentist office.
And wrecked everybody. He wrecked Braun, he wrecked Bray. And then the next week on SmackDown, he would do the unthinkable. Roman would align himself with the devil himself, Mr. Paul Heyman. In probably one of the best reveals in a long time. And then it would be no more than a month later where Roman would capture the Universal title in a triple threat match for the Universal Championship.
After waiting till damn near the end of the match. Damn near the end of the match before his ass walked out and whooped some ass and took that title back.
Yep. We'd also see Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. This is where Keith Lee was, kind of floundering at this point. He'd come up to the main roster.
I was going to say, he'd just come up to the main roster, I think right after SummerSlam.
Yeah, but I think by the time Payback comes around,
Payback was the following week.
That's right. No, it was. You're right. No, I'm thinking
he wasn't floundering at that point. They just wanted a high-profile match for him.
Yeah.
He hadn't started floundering yet.
Right. Then he gets to Night of Champions, and we would see two titles change hands. Sammy would recapture the Intercontinental title from Jeff Hardy, and Asuka would capture the SmackDown Women's Championship from Bayley, making Asuka a double champion.
I thought you were going to say the 24/7 I-95 South title was changing hands.
Ryan Brodo, I sensed a mention of the Ralph fan club. Now I am here.
We're talking about Ralphie dressing up as a Swamp Thing, taking on the Undertaker in a Swamp Thing match.
That would, oh my god, that'd be phenomenal. Now, at this point, we're in the Thunderdome, the WWE Thunderdome at the Amway Center.
WWE Thunderdome.
And we would also see Jey Uso step up to the plate, and we would see the start of the Tribal Chief, the head of the table.
Honestly, I would say Jay stepping up would be one of the breakout stars of the year because, dear God, this man could be a singles competitor and never need his brother again, in my opinion.
Frank Vespi, well, hello, Ryan. I see you on the YouTubes. And Ryan going, oh my God, what? So, all right, hold on. So, back here, Frank says that was great, the Swamp thing, because we were talking about the Wyatt Swamp match.
Yep.
Okay. And Butters over here, Butters is saying that it should be Ralphie dressed up as the Swamp Thing going against The Undertaker in a Wyatt Swamp fight.
I didn't say a Wyatt Swamp fight. I just said a Swamp Thing match.
Swamp Thing match. That works too.
Gotta call it something different.
Yeah, you gotta call it something different.
Oh, yeah.
And so we would find ourselves leaving Clash of Champions and getting to Hell in a Cell.
Which wasn't as bad of a disaster as the year before.
Correct. And finally we would see Bayley versus Sasha inside Hell in a Cell.
Finally, the feud breaks down. The friendship breaks down after the teases and the wants and the needs of the fans. And we finally get the match we've been wanting.
There's something not right about you.
You just now noticing this? I mean, like, every week it's the same thing.
Frank, did Butters say, oh yeah? Macho Man intensifies.
Oh, yeah.
No, he didn't.
It wouldn't be 2021 without a Macho Man appearance.
No, Christ. This is also where Roman Reigns would defeat Jey Uso in the first ever Hell in a Cell I Quit match. Which is really weird. Because if you go back and watch the match, Jey doesn't quit because Jay's in pain. He quits because Jimmy's now in pain. Jay took an ass whooping in that match. Oh, no. This is on you. This is now on you. Ass and you shall receive. We'd also see the...
I was actually kind of, it interested me to see an I Quit match in a Hell in a Cell because, they never actually really added stipulations to Hell in a Cell. It was just Hell in a Cell is just get inside the cell, beat the shit out of each other, and pin one another. Right. It's a great addition to something that they've been. Nah, it wasn't worse than last year's. Last year's was far worse.
Last year's was a train wreck.
It was a nice addition to something we keep seeing every year. We talked about that. The mystique of the Hell in a Cell. They kind of added to it with that. With the I Quit. It brings a little more interestingness to the I Quit match too.
Yep, I thought it was very well done. I remember coming on afterwards and saying, what, there were a couple points where it felt very drugged out, but kind of is what it is. Randy Orton will also take the title off of Drew at this show, and The Miz would defeat Otis for the Money in the Bank contract.
Thanks to a Tucker heel turn.
Bastard.
Where's he at now? I don't see him anymore.
Survivor Series would come around in November. This is where we would see the final farewell of The Undertaker.
Are you crying over there?
Maybe.
Raw
would clean sweep Team SmackDown in the men's side.
Crazy.
The Street Profits would defeat the New Day. Bobby Lashley would defeat Sami Zayn. Sasha over Asuka. On the women's side, it would come down to the sole survivor being none other than God blessed Lana.
We love you, Lana. Woo!
And Roman Reigns defeating Drew McIntyre by a technical submission.
And it was at this point that we kept seeing Lana make sweet, sweet love to that table every week.
Yep. 9 fucking weeks of Lana going through a table.
I mean, hey. More power to the girl. I mean, you got a toothpick going through a 2x4, so I mean, come on.
And at this point, you kind of see Keith Lee starting to flounder and not really know where his place is.
Yeah, but you got to blame WWE Creative on that one. It's at this point, Creative's out of ideas. They don't know what the hell they're doing. COVID's got them in a bind because they ain't got the fans to direct them.
Right.
Because even in the Thunderdome, that fan noise you hearing ain't fan noise, boys and girls. No. That's being piped in.
And then just a few weeks ago, we would have tables, ladders, and chairs. And this is where Drew McIntyre would defeat The Miz and AJ Styles. Carmella would lose to Sasha Banks. The Hurt Business would capture the Raw Tag Team titles over the New Day. Asuka and Charlotte Flair would capture the WWE Women's Tag titles over Nia and Shayna. This would be Charlotte's return to the WWE after taking 6 months off. Roman Reigns over Kevin Owens, and The Fiend losing a Firefly Inferno match to Randy Orton, and then having Randy Orton set this man on fire.
And then we'd also see one of the most bullshit moments of 2020 with a Money in the Bank cash in only to be given back to The Miz because John Morrison cashed it in and not him.
Bullshit.
All because of a technicality.
I got your technicality right here.
I would have loved to have kicked Adam Pearce in the nuts and put him through a table.
From a pay-per-view perspective, though, WWE, when you look at it on paper and you kind of put little things together, not really all that bad.
No, not this year. Hell no.
And Damian says, best Inferno match ever. I agree.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fact that you actually, set somebody on complete fire at the very end of it was amazing. Because most Inferno matches, all the Inferno matches always ended with a little bit of fire on the arm or a little bit of fire here. Oh, he's caught on fire in the match. Done. Boring. But this year we get the...
Did you know it was a puppet? They didn't really burn him alive?
What? It was fake?
It was fake.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Fucking morons. All right,
But come on, at least we got the full sensation of something actually being on fire in an Inferno match, not just a little...
No, I agree, right? And I think throughout this, we've kind of shown what our favorite moments are and some of the bullshit that we talked about. So out with the old, in with the new. We're going to talk a little this week in professional wrestling. We would be remiss if we tried to start this off by doing by none other than having Superman 2021 in the building.
Here it comes.
Ooh, yeah.
I know it.
None other than the Macho Man, Frank Vespi himself.
Oh God, I knew it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
What a week.
We're gonna let Frank kind of recuperate and recover for a minute there, because Frank's gonna come in. We're gonna talk. What are we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk AEW with Frank. We're gonna talk about the Brodie Lee celebration from this past week. Okay. While we do that, Butters, let's talk a little Monday Night Raw. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You would see people subtly throughout the week make reference to John Huber.
Yes.
Luke Harper, Brodie Lee. Drew McIntyre would start it off just like we started off our show this week. It's Monday. You know what that means. We started off. It's Saturday. You know what that means. And he talks about how Sheamus, Keith Lee, they're going back and forth. There's a number one contenders match for the title.
Yep.
And we would see Keith Lee win that match. So now it's going to be Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre.
For this coming Monday.
Correct. Damien wants to know, do y'all think if TLC was Brodie that WWE would still have Damien, I think you need to rephrase the question. I'm not sure I follow. But let's bring Frank. Looks like he's all set up. He's still got Frank's here from the Fix. We're going to talk the celebration of Brodie Lee from Wednesday night. Frank, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thank you.
So this was something that I couldn't watch in one sitting.
Yeah, it was
rough.
I got to watch the tribute show the day after because as we were doing the show, all the tribute was going on at the same time.
Right,
so
you guys were on the air while it happened.
Yes. And yeah.
So go ahead, Butters.
It was a rough watch, and everybody paid tribute to Brodie in their own way. AEW did it bigger than everybody, yes. That was because he was currently in AEW. People bitched a lot about WWE not doing a proper tribute. Well, first off, let me tell you, piss off. Okay. They did their tribute their way for someone who wasn't, yes, he's a former WWE superstar. But you look at the video package they showed Thursday night. They waited until Thursday to give this man a big video package to wait for AEW to do their big tribute. So all you babies need to quit crying out there over something.
And our colleague here at HUD Radio, Chrome, we were sitting in the Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics group, and somebody had posted how Brian Hawkins or whoever the hell he was posted how it was bullshit that WWE didn't do anything. And Chrome really said it best. He's like, WWE dedicated 2 solid days of social media content to Brodie Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw that Kevin Nash criticized, saying that it was too little that the WWE did in honor of Brodie Lee. Like, I think one of the first things that they sent out was I think it was like a 10-minute documentary, and Nash wasn't too thrilled with that from what I saw on Twitter.
Well, and the other thing was it wasn't a documentary. It was a formerly known as like little network thing that they've done years ago on him.
Yeah.
And they put it back out there because he does talk a lot about how he's Brodie Lee in that little clip. But also,
as we say, they were putting up shots of him in AEW. They were doing, their type of a tribute that they could without stepping on AEW's toes. They were trying to be, nice about it. They were trying to, let them do their thing. They did something every show this week, even if it was a little bit of graphic, even if it was the superstars wearing bands and, making tributes to Brodie. There was something all week for the man on WWE. Give them a break.
Correct. So now we get to Wednesday. And you knew Wednesday was going to be a rough watch.
Yeah.
And they start out with that 10-bell salute on the stage with Brodie's wife, both his kids there, -1 in the mask, in the suit with the kendo stick ready to go. And then they immediately cut to a package of Jon Moxley talking about him.
Yep.
And then they go to Matt Hardy and Private Party versus the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana. Mind you, this entire night was booked with -1.
Yes.
Right? They're all people essentially at -1 wanted to see the Dark Order. The Dark Order was involved in every single match.
And I think that was the best way to do it, is to have the Dark Order involved. And going into it, I knew, like, all right, they're going to try to have the Dark Order win every single one. I was getting a little bit of like the what was it called? The NWO sold out vibes, but this was sold out, done right for AEW.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you have Darby Allin talking about Brodie Lee and how he discovers that Brodie Lee didn't have an ego and it was the #1 guy he wanted to wrestle. And he never did wrestle him. Right? And so I don't see that clip until days after I see how the night ends, right, and how Darby Allin shows up at the end of the night, and so it kind of brought it all together for me. Yeah. And they also said this is one no storylines are going to advance this night. This was solely for Brodie Lee and the celebration.
This was, as I say, this was a celebration of life. This was just something to, celebrate Brodie Lee, and to make sure that his, family had a night to just celebrate and enjoy his life.
Yep.
And you seen in the crowd in that match, -1 having a true fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That kendo stick shot to the head of MJF. I mean, come on.
So
yeah, that was great.
I'm not home when that happens. I had left. I knew I couldn't watch it live. I just couldn't. So I'm leaving. I'm at karaoke and I'm sitting with Jax, and we're scrolling through Twitter while somebody's singing, and MJF just tweeted out, "Fuck that kid." And so I went, "Oh God, -1 got involved."
Yeah.
So we had to go find the clip, and we're sitting there watching and just go, "Oh, come on."
My first thing was, that's what you get for ripping off the kid's mask. First off.
Yeah.
And kudos to the kid. Kudos to Brodie Lee Jr. because he actually tries to hide his face like a luchador would.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome.
I know.
This kid knows the business well enough that, it's like, my mask.
Yeah, and he knows it so well that he's already signed a contract with AEW he's 8, right?
Yeah, he's like 8.
Yeah. So he's already 8 years old. You already got a contract signed by AEW, and I hope he makes it in the business. That'll be totally something if he breaks in.
Lance Archer, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson versus Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and the Blade. Great match here.
Yep.
I thought it was phenomenal. To what Brodie Lee did for Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, incredible. Just absolutely incredible. Dax Harwood, Arn Anderson, Colt Cabana, and Bryce Remsburg would all talk about how Brodie loved his family. And that was something that we saw a lot come into light, is how much of a family man Brodie Lee was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hangman Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds would defeat MJF, Santana, and Ortiz. Who would show up but Eric Rowan?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's Eric Redbeard. Get it right, sir. JR was trying to correct Jericho all night.
I don't give a damn.
I know.
I was laughing so hard because you could hear JR's voice just give up.
Yeah.
But here's my
when I saw I saw when Redbeard made an appearance. I got spoiled by it on Facebook. That one of my friends popped when he saw Redbeard come out. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be interesting. So when I finally saw it, I too popped. Even though I saw the spoiler, I kind of popped as well. with the sign that Redbeard had was very touching.
That's what broke me.
Yeah.
That was the first moment, because I didn't see the 10-bell salute till later, because I knew that I knew the 10-bell would make me cry. It always does.
Yeah.
I'm a sap for it. Deal with it. But I have to give Wardlow a hard time here, because he fucks that entire moment up.
Yeah.
He doesn't take the punches well. He barely gets in position for the choke slam. It's like, get the fuck out of the ring. But that message that sign that he had.
Yes.
And you could see them crying. You could see John Silver and Alex Reynolds, crying. They hit the discus lariat on Ortiz for the win.
Wearing the ring gear that Brodie actually bought him.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, he said, you know, when he found out he was in that match, he said, you know, he was wearing that ring gear. You know, Brodie bought him that ring gear, and he's going to wear it for that match.
Yep. Anna Jay and Ty Conti versus Britt Baker and Penelope. This is another Anna Jay, somebody that Brodie Lee essentially handpicked for the Dark Order and helped elevate this girl's career.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jay hits a spin kick on Baker and pays tribute to Brodie. And you see her start to get emotional here when she does that. And she ultimately gets the sleeper hold on Penelope for the win. Tony Schiavone interviews Britt Baker, and I didn't see this part. She calls the match rigged. The whole thing is a big rig. Another homage to Brodie Lee. They called him Big Rig. But then the match that really, really matters, right? Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and Teton versus Team Taz, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs. You want to talk about let's just call it what it is. I get it; they're -1's favorite wrestlers in AEW, but you want to talk about a hodgepodge, weird group of
Right.
It's Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and Ted.
And for some magic reason, it all worked.
Yes. And I love at the end where Ted's doing the Dark Order thing. Orange Cassidy comes up and he does.
Yes.
He half-assed does it. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know that's so Orange Cassidy too. And I saw it. I couldn't help but bust a gut. I'm like, this is too good.
Yeah.
Team Taz attacks after the match. All the lights go out, and out comes Darby Allin and the Icon Sting. Great way to end the night. Still kind of keep the fact they're still a wrestling company. We got everybody in that we could on this episode, and next week we're back to business.
We're back to business and of course AEW getting ready for Revolution. I mean, Revolution's about 7 weeks away. It's called Revolution.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, the touching tribute, Cody giving -1 the title. That's where that's where the waterworks flew for me. I mean,
I broke with the last, Cody talking, Tony Khan, and the title to Brodie Jr. And then there was some off the air footage. That's what broke me.
Yeah, the off the air footage gets you too. And I gotta give a huge shout out. And I kind of dogged him last night when I was talking to Jax about it. But I gotta give a huge shout out to Tony Khan. For somebody who is not in front of the camera, for somebody who doesn't really do a whole lot of media and press, even on the the NFL side of things, he decided, I'm going to go out on national television as the owner of this company, and I'm going to make statements related to this. I'm going to, say what Brodie meant to us. I'm going to be there for his family. And I don't know, that holds a lot of weight for me.
Yeah. That shows you that shows you one's true character.
Yeah. I liked Cody's intro for Brodie Lee. He got his own entrance with his mom.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And the crowd, you got to love the crowd, right?
The crowd definitely made it.
Everybody got chants. Tony Khan presented with the TNT title, and it came out later that night that title is now retired. That version of the title is now retired.
Yep.
And they will come out with a new version of the title. But I think AEW did it phenomenal. I think
absolutely,
as tribute shows go, that's probably one of the best, top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the new standard bearer for
Exactly.
what a tribute show should be for somebody in the world of professional wrestling. Especially, I think, more so when they're an active member of a roster.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but yeah, just really good. You know, Damien asked us, do y'all think Brodie Lee passing happened before TLC, that WWE would still go on with the Inferno match? And if they did, and if you think they would have ended the same way? So what he's asking is, had Brodie had passed before TLC, does the Firefly Inferno match happen the way it's supposed to happen? Unfortunately, I think yes.
Yeah.
I think it still does.
I think so too, because, you know, again, yes, Brodie's not with the company, but, you know, it's still one of those things that they're going to advance the storyline one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I give credit to WWE. They took a step back. Yes, they are the international phenomenon when it comes to pro wrestling, but it wasn't their place to do a big over-the-top tribute.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It had already been announced. Tony Khan came out Sunday and announced that Wednesday was dedicated to Brodie, and we were throwing everything out the window that we had planned. We're postponing. You know, they were supposed to do some New Year's
Smash, yep, which is now a 2-night event.
Yep, they postponed that. And I think then coming out Sunday saying that, I think Vince turned around and said, we're going to do subtle stuff throughout the night. You guys want to go out and do discus. Every single one of you want to throw a discus clothesline, go right ahead. But I truly think Vince had the common sense to turn around and say, nah, not our place.
Yeah. And, you know, and that's the one thing that, you know, irks me about or pisses me off about a lot of these fans. I'm just going to say it. That's what pisses me off is, you know, they're wanting to bash WWE for Monday Night Raw, not realizing what truly is going on. You know, wait. Give it a moment. See what AEW does, and then you'll see why WWE is doing what they're doing. I mean, like you said, it was all through social media. All of it.
Yep.
WWE, you know, gave the time and place on social media. They gave the time and place on each episode. Yes, it may not have been a whole night. It may not have been a 10-bell salute, but come on, people. You know, have the common courtesy to just let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, 100%. No, I think AEW. I said it. I think I told you, Butters, before we came on the air. AEW. I watched more AEW than I did WWE this week. I knew.
Yep.
I knew the ramifications of what this was, and I knew this. If there's ever going to be a blow-off week for WWE, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, they really took the step back and said, we're just going out and doing what we have to do to get by this week.
Yep.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, advance just the basics just to get us through the next week, and we're good.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I really don't have anything else for this week in wrestling, other than the fact that they're saying Kevin Owens got hurt last night during that fall. I don't know if that's a work or if that's story related.
You know, looking at that nasty little bump, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's why I don't know. That's why I really don't know, right? It could be work. It could be story related. Frank, you gonna hang out? Or you wanna? We're gonna do some 2021 predictions.
I mean, I could do a little prediction for AEW.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, I mean, knowing with the Brodie Lee Tribute show, I mentioned this in the comments last week. I don't think it's going to happen just yet, but I think we're probably going to see a push for the Dark Order.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as our AEW expert, you watch it more than I do.
Yeah.
Who takes the reins and leads the Dark Order?
Oh geez, that's a tough one. As of right now, from what I've been watching, I think when Adam Page joins, all signs are pointing at Adam Page joining the Dark Order. I think he becomes the de facto leader without mentioning the Exalted One.
Let's fix it. I don't think we would. I think they would bring out a new title for the leader and never, because I think they don't want to, call the Exalted One anymore.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna not move on with the Exalted One. Maybe have Adam Page lead them, I guess, without mentioning.
Kind of like
Brodie.
a hostile takeover kind of thing.
Yeah, not a hostile takeover. So I think that will help Adam Page elevate himself into the main event picture when becoming that leader of the Dark Order. But that all depends on what's going to happen after Revolution, because I think I was looking at the cards for the New Year's Smash, and both cards don't have any mention of the Dark Order. Usually what I got out of it is that a lot of those matches from New Year's Smash are going to lead you up to Revolution. Especially with the tag division, because the tag matches in there. Let me pull up the cards. All right, so night one, you have the Young Bucks, SCU, the Acclaimed, and the Hybrid 2 in an 8-man tag match. And then the following week, you have FTR and Jurassic Express going at it. So I think that'll set you up for, I think what I'm looking at right now is that it's probably going to be Young Bucks and FTR for the tag titles at Revolution again. I guess I'm going to go with the Bucks retaining at this point. From what I'm looking at, the Bucks retain. Then Adam Page. I think the week of Revolution, the week after it, Adam Page officially joins the Dark Order, helps elevate them into the tag picture, because currently in the rankings, Dark Order is ranked 4th overall in the tag division. So that'll push Dark Order up into the top 2, and I think Dark Order will win come Double or Nothing.
Okay.
It is not until May. Then now the other thing is the world title picture, which I really don't know where it's going to go with Kenny Omega.
I feel like they're trying to get Kenny to win all the titles he can from the different promotions.
Yeah, because I know he also has.
No.
I know he has the AAA title.
He's got AAA. He's got AEW.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of them.
It looks like he's fixing to go after Impact and then possibly IWGP.
Right. I don't know. Here's what I don't understand about pro wrestling in a whole, right? We've already done this with the Dudley Boys and the tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We've already done this with Bobby Lashley and Kurt Angle, and a lot of it came from Impact, believe it or not. Why do we need to have somebody go win all these titles? Because eventually, now he's just got to fucking lose them all.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
But it's because all these promotions have working relationships with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to do something big. So you have the one guy have all these titles and all these promotions going, I want my shit back. I want my, we need our belt back. We need our true leaders. Step up. And this is where they create new leaders for these titles, for their promotions.
I get the idea behind it. I don't know. I guess I'm over it because it feels like it happens too often.
The last time was what? The Dudleys or Angle?
Bobby did it towards the end of his Impact run.
Hmm.
And then somebody else just held a shit ton of titles. I don't remember who.
I don't either.
But you also got to think, right? We've had Asuka holding 2 titles for a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we've had Bayley and Sasha holding 2 titles for a while.
And even back then, Triple H holding so many titles.
Right. Title monopoly has always been a thing within wrestling.
Right.
Just it feels more saturated within the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And I get it, but like I said, I think the reasoning is more to build up a new superstar, a new lead to go grab that title and to try to carry their promotion into the, Then again, I also think this whole AEW Impact thing is just for AEW to buy out Impact and have a second show.
There were rumors of a second brand coming.
I could see that happening. I don't think I would hate it.
I don't think I would hate it either. I think knowing the status of Impact right now, and of course in recent years, you had Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins buying them. Then there was
that guy.
And F that owl. Let's see. And then there was the aborted what was it? Global Force Wrestling with the Jarretts.
Yep.
That was a disaster. And then back to Impact.
I mean, Impact, you could add, honestly and truly, their women's division would be a great addition to AEW's women's division.
Yes.
Yep.
So
I think their women's division fixes AEW's women's division.
And I think that will help it out. If AEW somehow buys out Impact, I think the women's division they'll be fine. They'll be perfect.
Yes. It needs an oomph, and I think it, that women's division is where it's at, because with the likes of Deonna Purrazzo, Jordan Grace, and all the other great talent they got, it's like, where can you go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. AEW, I think, is gonna not run the gambit this year, but I think that they're not going to start making any moves until you have fans back in the building.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to build that viewership. I think they want to hit that 1 million mark consistently or more.
Yeah.
I think they're wanting to I think they want to build them ratings this year harder than ever.
Yeah.
And once they get them ratings where they want them this year, then they truly start going for reaching for that, brass ring, so to speak.
Yeah.
To pull it out of Vince's hand and go, we got it now. What are you going to do about it?
Yep. We're back in the Wednesday Night Wars. The Wednesday Night Wars it's back.
I won't say we're back yet. I don't think
it's getting there. The pandemic kind of took a huge hit on the Wars, but both companies adapted well. In their own way, they did a fine job adapting to the circumstances. They made it work. They figured out ways to advance their storylines.
I won't say that we're back there yet. I don't think we're having this conversation of a Wednesday Night War again until at least February.
Right.
That's fixated. Well, not just that, but I think it'd be another year or two before we had that war.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's gonna be that long. I don't think we're gonna have this conversation again about a potential looming war until February.
Right. I mean, it's still early. I mean, in 2021, I think hopefully, if people aren't going to be reckless, with the vaccine, we're probably going to see fans make a return. I know Double or Nothing this year is going to go back to Vegas as of right now. So we'll see come summertime. I think Double or Nothing and SummerSlam, it's going to be. It'll be pretty interesting to see when fans start coming back, and all eyes are going to be on both companies.
Absolutely. Well, Frank, we thank you for joining us, buddy.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Frank Vespi from The Fix and our local AEW expert. Make sure you guys check out Frank every Wednesday night on Fix and AM in the PM. Go Birds, Frank.
Oh. Go Birds!
That was good. That was cool having Frank jump in
Yes, it
for that little
was.
spot right there. All right, so let's give some quick, because we're running out of time here. Let's give some quick 2021 previews. You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's change it up this way. Okay.
Let's shake things up a bit.
Give me your bold prediction for 2021.
My bold prediction, I'd say. Ooh, I would say we. Oof, that's gonna be. I'd say Keith Lee, world champion. Doesn't matter when or where. Keith Lee, world champion this year.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking Keith Lee, world champion. I'm also thinking Lana as
Women's champion. And I think we see. I see a. You've been clamoring for it the past 4 to 6 months. You've been wanting to see it, so I think a good bold prediction would be to see Tessa Blanchard in WWE.
I think we're going to see the landscape of the professional wrestling world change by the summertime of 2021.
And you know what? Here's my biggest, boldest prediction for 2021. Because USA's not happy. Fox is not happy. The ratings are down. Vince is fixing to crumble. And I think we're about to see the return of CM Punk.
Nope. We'll call it a bold prediction, right? We'll call it a bold prediction, but I don't see
something to raise the ratings. Something to it would slam the ratings.
Not a chance. Not a fucking chance. I don't see
big chance. Big chance.
You're out of your skull. You're out of your skull.
This is my biggest, boldest prediction for 2021. CM Punk is back in the ring.
And I think you're out of your fucking mind. All right.
I'm always out of my mind. What are you talking about, fool?
So let's get out of here. Okay. Like I said, we were running out of time. I don't know why. I have this in my heart that I have to do a shout out. I don't typically do shout outs that aren't wrestling related by no way, shape, or form. Okay. Mm-hmm. I was not very close with this person, but without this person, indirectly, I don't truly think that I am who I am and that I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. On Thursday, New Year's Eve, we lost a friend. Her name is Casey Land. She passed away on Thursday, and she was the karaoke DJ that got my buddy DJ Blackjack started. She was doing karaoke at a couple places around here, and that's where Jax and Adrian and all these different karaoke all-stars, where the karaoke all-stars kind of moniker came to be. And I've met her a few times. Very, very cool person. So without her getting, Jax to kind of come out of his shell, can't believe that's an actual sentence. And doing what she did and teaching Jay and all these other things. I don't think Jax and I would have done this show 4 years ago. I don't think I'm with HUD Radio. I know I'm certainly not doing karaoke. And which, if anybody knows me, I'm a karaoke junkie.
Oh dear Lord, boys and girls! If you ain't ever heard him or seen him, you need to do it at least once because it's funny as hell and it's great.
So, thank you for that. So I don't know why I've been sitting here all day going. I had to do this. It felt right to do this. So I sent a big shout out to her, her family, her friends, all the people that were involved. May her memory forever be a blessing, and may her legacy live on every time that microphone is grabbed and a song is sung. So in that notion, guys, always and forever, tell the people that you love them. We're going to get out of here. We're going to thank Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Check him out on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. He's our doc. Make him yours. Also, Michael Ambrose and Ambuck Services, 856-879-5530. They are the South Jersey gutter and deck experts. Give them a call. Tell them HUD sent you. They're going to hook you up. Talking about getting the hookup, PhillyDrinkers.com. They have all your HUD apparel. You can find them right here at PhillyDrinkers.com/HUD radio. Get your gear. Support the brand. Like I said, guys, tell somebody you love them. Rest in peace, Casey. And we're going to leave you with probably my favorite video out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
It is HUD Radio in a nutshell for 2020. I'm Ritz. That's Butters. Wherever the hell that's Butters. Okay?
Hey, he did it right, folks. Oh, my God.
Trying to do that backwards is all screwy. Here we go, guys. We'll see you next week. We're out of here.
What's up, family? This is AM and the PM, only on HUD Radio, and I can strongly say to the people, and I'm pretty confident in saying this, maybe the last in-studio show for a while. The NBA officially shut down as of minutes ago.
Feet left. What?
I'm fucking done. I'm done. I'm fucking done with this.
What? What is going on?
I cannot believe this shit, bro.
Pack your bags now, Howie. If that's your pick. If that's your pick, pack your bags. Disgusting. Ooh, Howie ain't gonna miss. Howie don't. And this is Howie, guys.
Really fucking hurts.
More than she already is.
Oh, and she destroyed. What the hell is this?
Oh, yeah!
What the hell? What the hell was that? What the fuck is going on here?
The only thing I can do is go drown myself now because I lost. There's no way.
Balls. Oh, he's got to hold it. He's moving a little too fast. Oh, he punched through. Good time. I'm sure he's not hurt. He really punched through. Right. All right. Being nervous too, Diana. I didn't see him come up through the water, and I thought maybe I was wrong for a minute, but you can see the way he punched through, and I'm sure we'll see it in slow motion. Now he falls. This is what gives him the control. Now you see what he does right here. He kicks through, and that's what got him down safely.
There's Lee.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You see that dog? You see Cutter?
So, Ben, help me out. Just shoot the ball. Work on what you're not good at and come back and help this city out. If not, take you and your sister that's always on Twitter that got something to say about my city and get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
I told you they loved them. I told you they loved them. You thought it was smoke and mirrors time. I told you they loved them.
The gadget toy. We got a little spinner. We were looking for a PlayStation 5. We got a fucking spinner around. That's what we came in here. Wait all this time for.
Here we go. Here we go! Daddy!
What's up, fam? Welcome to A2D Radio.
And he missed it.
You missed it. Do you believe this shit?
Missed it. That's, you know what that's for? That's for the guy that said, yeah, looks like go screw Wilson. Fucking moron. Good work, buddy. Mushed that one, didn't you? Fuck. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, my God. Old mush mouth.
Matt, you know what you need to do one night, though? Like down the road, you just need to come sleep over one night again.
Like not nothing sexual family. You know?
If I get 5 women and they're all in the same room with me, we're going at it at 110%.
I'm in a warehouse at UPS 50, 60 hours a week, so you blow me out of the water.
You're in a whorehouse?
Warehouse.
Oh, warehouse.
A warehouse.
I work at UPS.
Who wants to make a damn play up front?
There we go.
Strip that!
There we go.
Got him! Is that BG? Is that BG? 20s, buddy. They got the best turfs around. They ain't going.
And there's DK Metcalf up the seam, and he's gone. He's gone. There was nobody around him. I don't know who was supposed to be covering him, but DK Metcalf is gone.
People say man's unrealistic.
Frank Vespi of the Fix and the P. Oh my God!
Whoa.
What the fuck are you wearing, Frank?
I love it because every time you do it, I don't even know if you know you're doing it. You do the duck lips. You're like,
Oh my goodness.
I love it, man. I love being here. This is fucking awesome. I'm a little passionate right now. It's beautiful. It's August playoff hockey. Fucking crack it like Will Ferrell. Let's go.
Jake, you want triple dip for you.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endless that you fear.